Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, I'd like to address the elephant in the room. It's about that clickbait thumbnail. Okay, yeah, I know. And if you're gonna try to clickbait someone, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you, Mr. Hippo. The title really fits, right? Everything changed so much during this time. Forgive me. Anyways, let's get started. Let's begin with the big one, the French Revolution. It all started in 1789 when the French stormed the Bastille prison. More importantly, it symbolized the absolute monarchy of France. In doing so, they showed the king and queen that their power was waning, and soon they would be forced to flee France. The revolution lasted until 1799, paving the way for Napoleon to become France's emperor. The ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity would inspire revolutionaries across the globe. The French Revolution had its ups and downs, but it definitely inspired many more revolutions that followed. Next up, we have the American Revolution. We all learned about this in school. George Washington, the Boston Tea Party, the Declaration of Independence, the whole 9 yards. This revolution was a response to increasing control by the British over the colonies. After 8 years of fighting, the British would eventually recognize the independence of the United States of America in 1783. The newly independent nation would set out to create a new government based on Enlightenment ideals, and it would do so by creating a constitution. The U.S. Constitution is still in use today and has only been amended 27 times. The United States would serve as an inspiration for other nations looking to break free from oppressive governments. But not every revolution was successful. Enter the Haitian Revolution. The desire for freedom from colonial rule was strong in Haiti, formerly known as Saint-Domingue, as it was the most prosperous colony in the Americas. Unfortunately, the colony was built on the backs of slaves, and the majority of the population was enslaved. As the revolution began in 1791, enslaved people took up arms and fought for their freedom against the colonial government. It was the first successful slave revolt in history, and it would serve as an example for slaves across the Americas. Simon Bolivar won independence for 5 countries. The 19th century was all about revolutions across the Western Hemisphere, right? But then, something interesting happened. Instead of having violent revolutions, many countries in Europe would undergo reforms that would change their countries without the need for bloodshed. The German Confederation was formed in 1815 after the Napoleonic Wars. It led to a period of peace and stability in Central Europe. The Quadruple Alliance was formed in 1814 between Great Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. It was designed to maintain peace throughout Europe. Both of these alliances would fail, but the idea of maintaining peace through cooperation, instead of war, would become an important idea in European politics. Great Britain underwent a number of significant changes during this period. Slavery ended in the British Empire, 1833, which addressed some of the inequalities in voting. Although it didn't go far enough for many, it was a step in the right direction. In France, a wave of nationalism in the 1830s led to the July Revolution and the rise of Louis Philippe as the new monarch. This period of time became known as the July Monarchy, and it lasted until 1848, when a wave of revolutions across Europe led to the February Revolution in France, which ended the July Monarchy and led to the rise of the Second Republic. And finally, we have the Congress of Vienna. This meeting of great powers after the Napoleonic Wars sought to restore Europe to the way it was before the wars began. It also sought to create a balance of power in Europe, so that no single country would become too powerful. Although it was a well-intentioned plan, it ultimately failed. But the ideas of the Congress would continue to influence European leaders for decades to come. Alright, clickbait thumbnail aside, what does all this mean? Well, the early 19th century saw massive changes across the globe. Whether it be the rise of nationalism in Latin America, or the growth of democracy in the United States, or the failure of the Congress of Vienna. One thing is clear, the old order of things was changing, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. So what do you think? Did I miss anything major? Let me know down below. Also, thank you to my supporters. You guys are awesome, and I couldn't have done any of this without you. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.